TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour. As always, it doesn't matter where you're at, as long as you're here at the appointed time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have going on today? Well, I think we're fairly close within the next, 12, 18 hours of finding some kind of low in the market. One of the things that I continue to look for, though, is that 4110, 4115 area, 410 area on the SPYs is showing that we're going to go retest that. Generally, when you come down this way and you get this close, you may get a little bounce, but you're going to retest high volume lows. And it's just like a magnet. It's going to suck us down to that 4100 area. And in the immortal words of Ross Perot,
there will be a giant sucking sound.
Yes, we'll be sucking down right down to that 4100, low 4100 area. Not exactly sure if that's going to happen before the bulk of earnings this week, or we're going to get a small bounce and then see more destruction in the first week of May. But it's a bear market, and that's pretty much all you need to know. For a long time, bad news was good news. Bad news is bad news these days. We had a few earnings out this morning and other news. We'll see. We'll just go through those. What most people are talking about is Twitter. Enough tweeting. Up almost 5% today. I don't remember who it was, but if they'll call in, I'll give you a pass on whether or not he was going to end up with this. But someone Vietnamese objected to my belief that they would end up buying. He would end up prevailing. But it's kind of a good thing to understand going private, and that is they can't really stop you. And of course, there's not a lot in standing in front of him for the board members. As we regaled last week, they had a grand total of $3,700 between all 8 of them. So there's not a lot of economic reason for them to care what the price of Twitter is in the near future. But what they are fearing is the one thing that board members fear the most, and that's getting sued for their fiduciary responsibility. Several folks, big movers and shakers, talked about doing that if they rejected the bill. And all they need to do is have a much better plan to go to court with and say, here, this is what we were going to do. But they have a whole lot of nothing. So I'm not surprised that they've given in to the better angels of their nature and decided that it is probably better to go out flat than end up in huge lawsuits, which will not be covered by insurance or the company itself if they are found to have breached their fiduciary responsibility. And that means making more money for shareholders. They literally have done nothing. The stock's done nothing but go sideways for whatever, how many years it's been out, 5, 10, whatever. Anyway, a lot of people have a vested interest in making sure that there is not freedom of speech in America, and they tend to be the most vocal on this deal won't go through or this is or that. It doesn't matter. At this point, it's a legal issue, not a right or wrong issue. And legally, if they sign on the dotted line, Mr. Musk is going to own his own tweet storm. And of course, a lot of people inside the company scared to death because they've lied pretty much incessantly about the algorithms and the way that they are driven on the website. And he's pledged as part of the buyout to make sure that all that becomes public domain and public domain in the future. So you can see whether or not somebody's trying to grind their axe one way or the other. Anyway, up 5%. This is just a bear market, so I'm not surprised that there's a little bit more room. The only thing I am kind of interested in is just how many short positions that are in Twitter that these people have been piling on since it was down and went back down to 46, and they've shorted all the way to the top. Weirder things have happened. We've seen it in things like AMC and Bed Bath & Below and the rest of the Robinhood projects. I'm just wondering if any of those guys get together and decide to clean out these guys and just drive the stock price to 60 and see whether or not these people actually bow down to the power of the short squeeze. I would laugh, as I don't know why in the world you had to short this thing to begin with. It wasn't like this thing had gone to $200 and came back to 25 and it went to 50 and you shorted it. It was just one of these stocks that people decided they were going to have a political bend on, and they're getting it in the keister today. That's a technical word, by the way. 877-927-6648. You can email me. That's mail me at path@tfnn.com. Okay, so Friday, one of the more interesting things going on. We'll get to the rest of the stocks in a minute. Friday, with minutes left, the market took a big dive. It looked like it was going to close at about 4,300 or whatever, or 43, 430, and you had this huge move. And generally, the only times I've seen that moves are when hedge funds are in trouble. Well, we were talking in the den slightly after the close. We found out that a Fed member decided to throw an anvil into the lake with drowning people on Friday just before the close. That kind of smells to a little bit of high heaven, but doesn't mean that hedge funds aren't in trouble. We also have some news out there about the Saudis being forced to sell a great deal of their positions and get dollars. I think the idea is from the Saudis is, one, they don't want to see a lot of these guys flaunting their cash, i.e. The kind of reception that the oligarchs in Russia have had. If the Saudi nation becomes a little upset about the excess of the princes. But that's made the dollar go higher, but it doesn't mean the hedge funds aren't in trouble. We'll be back in a minute.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month, and try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors.
What's separating you from the most successful men and women on Wall Street? That's right, information. Having all the information gives us the perspective we need to place the right trades at the right time. The TAS Profile Scanner is the premier market profile-based scanner. Powered by its acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner instantly filters over 2,500 plus global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. This powerful suite of tools leverages instant trade filtering and strategy formulation to show you emerging trades before they happen. For a limited time, you can save $100 off your first month by using the promo code UPGRADE, and you still get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Level the playing field with the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find under the Services tab at TFNN.com. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
As we return, why don't we do a little bit of history, and then we'll move on with the rest of the charts.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
Yeah, history kind of rhymes, doesn't repeat as much. But on this day in 1996, yes, it was Yahoo. Begins advertising its web-based search engine on national television, featuring the tagline, "Do you Yahoo?" The ads first aired during late night with David Letterman, Saturday Night Live, and Star Trek. This was a very early example of the internet entering into the mainstream. And of course, little did they know, not far up the street were a couple of Russian descendants, Sergey Brin and Larry Page. They both had a better idea of the way to do it. And by getting, I think it was $150,000 from their PhD advisor, their teacher, can't remember which one at Stanford, they started writing a better search engine. It's called the PageRank. Doesn't have anything to do with pages, has to do with Larry Page, the guy himself. And it was 10 times better by 1999 than using Yahoo or some of the other search engines. It learned over time, after all the suggestions for places you could go, which ones they selected, and put those at the top of the list, so you were more likely to get stuff that other people picked with the same words. And of course, PageRank, not because of the web page, but because of Larry Page. And of course, they said they would not be evil. Well, they are evil. They became evil. And we're finding more about the evil that Google has put on. And we're going to find out about earnings here, tomorrow morning? I think it is. Yeah, we've found out more than we wanted. Now, going through in Europe are some laws that would make it very difficult for them to continue being evil. But at least at the moment, I would not be short. You came back to this long-term gap that goes back to June 4th of 2021. You had a lot more volume, so that doesn't look good. But at the same time, it's hard not to say that after a big move off of 3,000 down to a little under 2,400, that you've had a bit of a haircut. It's still one of the prime stocks of the FANGs, but Europe continues to move farther and faster than the United States, probably because it's not a U.S. company. But I don't know what they're going to say or what earnings are going to be. But to me, the one thing that truly matters is what they say on Europe and how much that affects earnings going forward. We saw that Metamucil, otherwise known as Fascist Book, took a big hit after Apple decided that it could no longer fish out illegally. In fact, if I would have done it, I would have been in jail by now. Been in jail actually a long time ago. But when Facebook was stealing information via some tricky stuff that they were doing with their app on iPhones, and Apple put the kibosh on that. But you're just bouncing around. Got a question from Sam on Disney. Does this end up being just like Netflix? You're down a little bit lower. You got to 116. You've broken through a lot of support. They've been the fodder on both sides of the political aisle over the last few weeks. I would say that is a major distraction. Half the people think they're right, half the people think they're wrong. Bigger problem with Walt Disney is they are evil. And I think much like the 10 years after the Second World War with IBM, the reputation of them being in bed with China with genocide, which is far exceeds anything we've seen in the Ukraine, slavery, and even paying 50 cents an hour to folks in the Dominican Republic. Generally this stuff doesn't stick until it sticks, but I think Disney has a lot bigger issues besides what we've seen in the newspaper in the last month or so. And eventually all these people that groveled at the knees of the Chinese communists are probably going to be in front of Congress trying to explain why they did the same thing that people have done in the past. If you lay down with dogs, you're going to get fleas. And these guys are not the patron saints of being wonderful, even if you agree with them slightly or disagree with them slightly right now about something politically in the front page. And, of course, just the reviews of most of their shows as they push more to being a streamer. Just most of the stuff not that good. And I know some people like it. But you don't make movies for 1% of the population. You make it for something like 30% or 50%. And, you spend a lot of money on production. It's the same thing with Netflix. They've got shows that people are watching that they paid millions and millions, and less than 5,000 people are watching. So, when you think of things like cable news, where maybe you got 1 million people watching if you're the best network. If you're one of the other networks, maybe you get 200,000 or 300,000 people. You get a guy on YouTube like Russell Brand. This guy can bring in 10 or 15 million people in a week. And guess what? He probably does it for $2,000 if he even has somebody that works for him. So I'm not a big fan of being in these big companies throwing lots of money after poor products. And yeah, maybe they have one good thing or two good things, but just the incessant need to destroy Star Wars. And then when they get one good product, which was the Mandalorian, that actually was good for subscriber base. They can't go out of their way without trying to destroy it because, of course, it's all about egos in Hollywood, not about actually getting butts in the seats, as they used to say in the movie theater. 877-927-6648. Okay, what else do we have out here? Well, we're certainly starting to bounce a little bit. Again, I think a lot of that is a bit of an overhang from Friday's last few minutes where no one really knew why people were selling. 4,300, could we go into most of earnings with that in the S&P cash? I think we could. Doesn't mean we're done. I still think we've got that 4,100, and it's still a bear market. We'll be back in a minute.
The gold market has taken off topside in a large way. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
TFNN has just launched their new trading room, the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. And now they are expanding their reach with the Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. In the Tiger's Den, you can look over the shoulders of Tom O'Brien and the other TFNN hosts while they analyze charts during their live Tiger TV programs, and join an interactive trading community with hundreds of members exchanging ideas. Interact with other tigers and tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day, even at night and on the weekends. The Tiger's Den at Discord is accessible on mobile or tablets as well, so it's always at your reach. To sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders, just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
As we return, question about from James about Netflix. What do I think? Yeah, certainly you could get a bounce. What I would say is it's a very risky stock. You've got two very big gaps down. One from 500 to 450, the other one from 350 to, what is that, 245-ish. My guess is that, or at least historically, when you've gotten these, you get one more. with about an 80% chance in about the same amount of time. So could you be long a week or two? You probably could. See, the first gap was at the beginning of the year. So now we get the second gap in the fourth month. So, by the 8th month, you get the third gap down. They're not always symmetrical, but I certainly don't think I'd want to be in the last weeks of August with Netflix until it has a gap, one more gap, or it goes back and fills some stuff. Pretty risky, not in the very short term, but probably in the medium term. On a bounce, maybe 290, you'd want it to fill about half that gap, maybe 285-ish. But, 200 to 285 is still a good trade. I would just always be thinking that maybe if I was going to play this, I'd buy calls on it. I probably wouldn't buy the equity and end up in a losing position. 877-927-6648. Okay, what else do we have? Okay, other things going on in the market right now. Coca-Cola did bounce, gave all of it up today on earnings. We'll take a look at that. Kind of an ugly candle up here at the top, but again, these things have been running for quite a while. You're not going to get a close underneath that top. These things are probably still going to be fairly good, but bounces are and gap ups are to be sold until we know that the market's turned from a bear back into a bull. But I don't know. Earnings this week probably going to be all over the map. Okay, of course, some huge down days for the energy sector. Again, you've had a fairly long ride on this. You got to 22.84 on Marathon Oil. What is that? 23.96. So, not a bad bounce in this. Probably long term, you're fine. I wouldn't want to have been in it, but you got your pullback now. Figure a couple of weeks for some consolidation. In the short term, can you play these for a bounce? In the long term, I'd want these things to probably consolidate for a couple of weeks outside. Also in the list of stuff is CVX, Chevron. It had kind of same thing out here, got to 151. Not a lot of volume, so these things are still fine. What you would want, again, is I think you need some consolidation, bore some folks out. And then if you can get back above 3x3, I think that would be a good buy signal on those. Right now, no touchy. VZ, other than short-term trades, let me put it that way. I'm not a long-term fan. Verizon Communications blows out the lows, but not with volume. It got to 49.54. The last low was at 48 million shares. You got 30 today. So, again, like I said, setting up for, at least in some stocks, some temporary lows, especially the ones that blew out. Now, on this one, you have two fairly major gaps. I'd still want to get a third gap out of that before I touched it and held it overnight on anything. Maybe you trade it during the day. Do not like it. Penn National Gaming up about 5%. This is the Barstool guy, right? Dave something. But Penn National Gaming actually doesn't look that bad. You came into the January 24th low. That had $37.76 on it, 7.5 million shares. You really never got more than about 4 million shares down here at the lows. Friday, even then, you only got 3.3 million shares. You're just not doing much. You are looking like you would close above the 3x3, and I think if it consolidates out a little, if it came back on lighter energy, came up back on the same energy it went up on, which more connotes a trading range than a great buy. But you're probably going to get a few days out of here. If it consolidates and volume remains light, you may have a trade in that going forward. John Deere, it's probably going to get the losing horn for me today. Portnoy, didn't he have a complaint? I'm going to have to look that up during the break now. All I know is like some kind of disease, Portnoy's complaint. Yeah, Dave Portnoy. Anyway, John Deere, you got a couple of gaps down. This one's really statistically a bigger one. But volume's not blowout yet. You did come right down to the previous low, missed it by about $10. So I would still want this thing to test, especially in a bear market, 362.30. That's the March 10th low out here. Kind of hard to understand with the food prices that's it. Maybe it's energy prices or something else. Not exactly that sure on farm machinery, but looks really good. Anyway, those are the top ones. Got some questions about Apple. I think they got earnings coming up too on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see what we have here. AAPL, April 28th, which should be Thursday, all day long, by the way. And you got a little doji out here. My guess is you're probably going to be somewhere between 160 and 165 into earnings this week, unless we get some kind of blowout from someone else. Okay, let's check FT. April 26th for Microsoft, which would be tomorrow if you live in Lutz, Florida. Anyway, take a quick look at that. Of course, after the bell, MSFT, as we see. So, and the market's gently going higher. Yeah, we're still down 5 points on the S&P cash. Nasdaq's already up 82 as everybody descends back into jumping on technology at every chance to get. When we come back here, we'll look at Microsoft. It actually has some very nice lows out here with light volume going into earnings. I wouldn't want to be short here. I don't know if there's a lot higher. On a bounce, maybe 395. We'll be back in a minute.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
As we come back, what are my thoughts on XLM and Exxon? As I said, you came down on some heavy volume for a lot of these, or gap down. So can you get maybe a short bounce or something? Yeah, but they came down on some, enough volume that my guess is you're going to get a short bounce here over the next couple of days. Crude's back up to around $99. You've got a double gap, so maybe to 86. But my guess is these things are going to go sideways, consolidate their gains out for a little while. In a week or 2 weeks, you're probably going to see the next big run that will probably start a big ABC to the upside unless the U.S. decides to change its oil policy, which I don't think. It looks to me like they're doubling down. So I don't think that there's any reason to think that changes. CVNA. Carvana. Hey, Dave, great call on this latest sell-off. CMA and their chart telling us that used car prices will soon be collapsing. I don't think they're telling us that. I think they're telling us that higher interest rates mean that people won't be buying as many used cars. And that will probably help make used car prices sell off more than anything else. On the other, again, I want to see some kind of sign before I move. But on this, most of these car companies did extremely well. This was, 376 at the highs, now 75 down here on a gap. On a doji. Not a lot of volume. It was never worth 376. Is it worth $50 or 25? Probably. But again, remember, all these interest rates are going higher, and the first thing that people don't do is they pay their, or that do is pay their rent or their house payment. The second thing they do is pay their car payment. We talked a week ago, 2 weeks ago now, about how many sailboats and boats I saw for sale that was double a year ago, 2 years ago, even 3 years ago before the pandemic. So we've got a ton of people getting ready to dump anything that burns some fuel or costs some cash or something that they don't live in today. And a car, unless you're living in it, you're probably not your primary thing. I think it's going to be problematic for a while. If you wanted a pairs trade, you'd go long AutoZone and one of the other kind of companies like that, and probably short these online retailers that I don't think are probably going to make it over time. I don't think they're going to die this week, but don't think there's a lot of reason to think they go any farther. News pending TWTR. What would be, how much, I just hope they do, for people being so stupid as to short Twitter in a buyout. How great would it be if they announced initially a price of $60 and just crushed all these people that kept on shorting it over the last few days? I don't have any axe to grind other than I like it when people do really bad things in the market, because a lot of times I get to profit from it. But being short Twitter is probably a fool's errand, but we shall see. Anyway, halted news pending. Okay, what else do we have? Question about FCX. Of course, a lot of these have been hammered on the thoughts of less growth around the world. Now, you've got a little bit of a candle out here. I am still thinking, and I'm still fairly bearish, and it may not happen today or in the next couple of days, but I would just about bet you that you're going to get a retest of the lows on most of these, and that's going to also include the S&P around 40, just a little over 4,100. And does that happen next week? You don't know. But it's interesting nonetheless. Used car prices. I think everything probably that burns gas is going to be cheaper, Hector. So if it's a plane, a boat, even a sailboat, I think anything that burns gas or you don't absolutely have to have is probably going to find a lot of sellers over the next year as interest rates go higher. What else do we have here? Okay, so that's the first one of that. Okay, let's go back to some other stuff. Okay, question about TLT. What do I see going on here? Let's go to the chart. We kind of went past where I thought we were going to go, which was about 121. Got down to 118.76, so it overran it. You got a doji Friday. You got a doji today. You got a doji 3 days ago. Yeah, that's a lot of dojis out here. I'm going to say that you want to probably stand back and see what happens. A lot of times when you get a lot of dojis like that, it's the halfway move down or some kind of low. But I don't have a lot to say either way. On a bounce, 125-ish. And it wouldn't be impossible to get a bounce in these, but generally they stay, the bond market stays fairly close to the channel while it's going higher and lower. What else do we have? Give me a call today, 877-927-6648. Where do we have here? Rise of the Resistance, maybe the last thing Disney actually does good. Yeah, I didn't think anything since the three beginning ones was very good. Okay. We looked at Apple. Okay, what's like the SMHs? Because there was some fairly bad news into Friday from ASML. In fact, let's go look at that one first, ASML. And that is that they're not going to be able to produce enough machines. I think it was right after the close. You gap down today, you got some fairly deep, you got some decent volume on this. And of course, without these, their statement was that just about everybody that wants to build a fab is probably not going to be able to build as many fabs as they want. I think that was, it's pretty close to their press statement. At least I got the meaning across. Of course, they're up there in the fjords, so maybe in their native language it's slightly different. But anyway, pretty gappy. I would think on this one you got 560 at a double gap. That's that last low at 558.77. But this is a company that builds $300 million machines. It's tough to get all excited about the SMHs other than maybe an oversold, overshorted bounce. Good thing you didn't have enough volume at least on Friday, 7 million shares going into 13 million shares. So, yeah, could you get back up to 255-ish? I think you could. Doesn't look good through the rest of the summer.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The gold market has taken off topside in a large way. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The gold report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the gold report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And as we return, getting ready for Tom O'Brien to come in, finish up the day out here. Well, Twitter, I knew thee well. Yes, we'll tweet, but no TWTR to trade in the near future. They're going private, and it was announced, I guess, during the break here, right a little bit before. But I got a question: how quick does this go through? On privates, they can go through as quick as a week, as long as the board votes on it. I don't know. Generally, they announce when the board does it, and the board does it, and you can close it the next day on a private in a company going private, as long as the board actually does it. There may be some people that try to throw some roadblocks up with some lawsuits. I've never seen any one of those go anywhere. So yeah, if hopefully somebody in the den can say whether or not they've got a date for the the board of directors meeting. But they'll do something and have a meeting, and everybody will say, yes, we want our cash. And that will be about it, and they will move on to something else. Fairly interesting last week, though. We brought it up in the den. I don't know if I brought it up on the air about BlackRock and a bunch of other ones going from about 8% to 12, 13, 14% last week, and buying the pullback when everybody said it wasn't going to happen. So, yeah, somebody's making some money on the long side, even in a fairly bearish market. Tesla is just dancing around 1,000. I don't know if that has a lot of effect going on there. I think most of the stuff, this isn't like Tesla. This is not like SpaceX. He just really needs to put out some very broad targets for the people that work there going forward. And, of course, that's about it. Probably won't be talking a lot about it as much as we did because it's not a public company soon. Sell when you can, cover when you can. See you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Building wealth trading in the stock market